The beer you drink is awful, but it doesn't have to be. There are countless local breweries all over the country that make great beer. Amazing beer, also known as craft beer. Beer you can savor rather than chug. Each week, we'll take you to a brewery, brew pub, or beer festival, give you a tour, and then drink the beer. All of it, for the betterment of mankind. The beer you drink can be great. So put down that red party cup and start drinking beer like an adult. This is Crafty.
Hi, and welcome to Crafty, the web series about great local beers. Today, we're actually going to be touring Ballast Point Brewing Company in San Diego, California.
Now, as always, we've brought our growler with us. But before we get it filled, we're going to take a quick tour of the facilities and maybe try out some of the beers they have on tap.
And with us today is Jack White, founder and CEO of Ballast Point Brewing. How's it going?
Good.
Today, he's going to show us around the brewery as well as tell us more about his beers.
Yeah, I'm about to give a tour, so if you guys want to join me.
Yeah, awesome, thanks.
Right on, follow me. Ring the bell. Okay, good. Now we have your attention. Anyone want to take a beer tour? Are we going to let them have beers on this one? Bring your beers too. Welcome you guys to Ballast Point Brewing Company. So I started out as a home brewer, making beer in my college apartment at UCLA. When I moved back down here to San Diego, which is where I'm from, went in search of a homebrew supply shop and couldn't really find one to my satisfaction. So I did that. I opened up a store called Homebrew Mart. It still exists. That's our roots. They also have a tasting bar there. They have our original brew house there, our 15-barrel brew house, about a third the size of this one. So yeah, we started that in '92 is when I opened up the Homebrew Mart.
Where do you guys get your yeast from?
We get it from White Labs. Chris White's the owner of White Labs. He took a class in homebrewing from our head brewer, Yusuf Shernay. Yusuf kind of talked him into making a readily pitchable homebrewer's yeast. It wasn't even called White Labs yeast at that time, it was called Homebrew Mart yeast. Now it's White Labs yeast, and it's a big company that sells yeast all over the world to homebrewers and craft brewers alike. We opened up this facility about 6 years ago. We're pretty happy with it, but we're starting to outgrow this location as well. We're in constant expansion mode around here. So yeah, this is our bottling line. This is actually a 1966 7-Up bottling line that we had refurbished. Right now we're doing, you'll see the 12-ounce bottles going through. Looks like it's our pale ale. Our beer never gets warm here. It's all temperature controlled here. Other than that, I don't even want to know how this thing works. It scares me. Too many moving parts. So this is our cold room, and this is all beer, and we're done. Let's get out of here. All right, does anyone want to go back to the cold room? Okay, we're good out here. I thought so. These are 200-barrel tanks. We're in the lucky, fortunate position that there's more demand than there is supply, so our job is just to try to keep up. Now I think what we'll do is we'll head back up and we'll take a look at the distillery. This is the distillery. I have no idea how it works. It's magic. That guy right there is our alchemist, head distiller. He's also our head brewer, that's Yusuf. He knows how that works.
This is coming off at about 135 proof.
Okay, you can stop whenever you'd like.
There you go.
The producers would like to take this time to point out that this is a show about beer, not liquor. However, we decided that since Ballast Point is the only distillery in the city, and we really like to drink, we had to check it out. Now back to the program.
I would be careful with that stuff. Holy sh**.
This is really good. So, this is clear. So what do you add to it?
All spirits coming off distiller are going to be clear no matter what you're making. Whiskey, rum, everything we do is barrel aged, so you'll get the color from the barrel.
So what kind of wine do you use in your brandy that you're making right now?
That's kind of a cool process in terms of where we got the wine from. A friend of mine owns a winery in Solana Beach. I've never tried doing a full distillation of brandy before, and it seems to be running pretty good. We're getting a nice high-proof spirit off of it. It's pretty simple. The vapor goes up, you condense it back to a liquid, just like a pot on the stove. If you have high heat going, you get a lot of steam coming off, and if you turn that heat down, you're gonna simmer. By reducing the amount of steam that's coming off, you'll keep the proof higher. We're at the point now where the distillery is pretty much a whole separate entity from Ballast Point Brewing, and it runs 5-6 days a week in here.
Hey, thanks a lot, Yusuf. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
We're going to go talk to Jack for a little bit, and then we'll get your advice on the beers later on.
All right, sounds good.
Cool. Appreciate it. How many different styles or kinds of beer do you actually make here?
I don't even know the exact count. I know we have over 40. We don't do all of them all the time. We don't have the capacity, so we'll kind of just rotate them through. We have our core brands that we try to keep available all the time, whether it's Sculpin or Big Eye or Calico or Black Marlin, Wahoo, and our Pale Ale. Those are the main ones. And then down at our Homebrew Mart location, we are always having fun, just doing new stuff, whether it's chili pepper beers, any kind of spice beer, oak-aged beers, Belgian styles, funky beers. We're always trying to experiment with things like that.
Do you have any recipes for beers that you haven't really kind of made in a large scale yet? Like anything you're holding in your back pocket to bring out, you know, when you have a special occasion or a certain ingredient comes by, something like that?
Yes. And if I told you, I'd have to kill you. Like I said, I like to give these guys kind of free rein to be creative. It's the reason we're closely held as a company, because we don't want outside investors going, make a light beer, make a light beer. Actually, the funny thing is our brewers will come to me, they'll make something, won't even tell me about it, and then they'll just put a glass on my desk and then walk away. Like, what is this? Taste it and find out. So we kind of have that kind of fun with it.
So what's up with all the fish?
Our head brewer, Yusuf, is very avid fisherman. So we kind of thought it would be fun and still connect with our nautical Ballast Point theme to do some beers named after local sport fish.
Cool.
So it's authentic to what we do, and it's, I hope that's not beer. It's raining beer.
If that's, I'm okay with that. Hey, thanks a lot, Jack. Really appreciate it. I think now we're going to go and taste some of your beers.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Great.
Thank you.
The main thing that you'll notice is there's all sorts of different colors and flavors here. The light beer here is our Wahoo wheat beer, and it's a traditional Belgian-inspired wit beer, which is kind of like a German-style wheat beer or a Hefeweizen, but it has the Belgian spice, the coriander and orange peel in it. Move on to the pale ale. Not a West Coast style pale ale at all. It's not very hoppy. We use German hops in it. It's a real easy drinking session beer. The next one you have there is our Calico, kind of a West Coast interpretation of an English style ESB. Extra special bitter. It's got a lot of caramel malt in it. Gives it a nice reddish color, fairly moderate alcohol content, but a pretty pronounced bitterness. The next one there is the Big Eye IPA. A lot of crystallized malt goes into that. So you've got the sweetness, but you've got a huge wallop of bitterness as well. The newer IPAs tend to lighten up on the crystal. We do also have that other style of IPA, which is our Sculpin IPA, which I believe is right about in here. You can see the color difference. It's a little lighter bodied, more fruity, different style hops in both. So more of an old school IPA, more of the new school. The dark one there is the Black Marlin Porter. It's essentially just as robust as any stout out there. Try to make a real drinkable, darker beer with a pretty pronounced bitterness as well. The next one I believe is the Victory at Sea. That's a seasonal offering. A real strong 10% kind of wintertime brew. We make it with local, specially roasted for us, Cafe Calabria coffee.
Is it like coffee grinds or is it whole?
We get the grounds delivered to us like fresh from the roaster the day we make it, and we make a cold brewed espresso, and then we inject it into the finished beer as cold brewed espresso. The next beer is another IPA, but it's a low alcohol version. A lot of people like the real hoppy beers, but they get kind of put off by the 7% alcohol in them. So the Even Keel gives you the low alcohol, like 3.5%, 4%, but a real hoppy flavor and bitterness. And the last one is another German-inspired beer. It's the Abandoned Ship, and we use a small proportion of smoked malt in there to give you almost like that bacony, smoky flavor.
Out of all these or any of the other ones that you've brewed over the years, which one do you think is your favorite?
You know, if it's a hot summer day, I'm gonna drink the lighter style of beer. If it's a nice winter time, sitting by a fire, the Victory at Sea is incredible. It depends on my mood, so I'm never gonna pick one.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you very much.
All right.
I think we're gonna go ahead and try these out. We'll see what we think, and we'll let you know.
Okay, take it easy.
Thanks, man.
Cilantro.
Cheers.
Real easy drinking.
It has the same drinkability of a Hefeweizen. You can really taste the wheat. It really tastes good.
A little bit of the spices, like he was saying.
And the next one was
The pale ale.
yeah. The front definitely, I feel as if I could like chug. The back end, you're just like, want to savor it.
A little bit bitter, but not too bitter. It's very nice. I like it. Is this the Calico? This is good. We're getting more into the hoppier kind of range of tastes. I like my hops real strong and real kind of aromatic. It's good. I could drink this with like dinner. This is what?
Big Eye IPA?
There's like some kind of sweet, like citrusy, kind of spicy
Right, like you
thing.
can taste like what used to be sweet. Some of them are just too strong for my palate, but this one's really good.
What is this? Black Marlin Porter.
Now these are the beers that I definitely like, porters and stouts.
I don't know if it's just because I drank all those kind of hoppy, bitter ones, but this, to me, it's got a real kind of neutral, smoky flavor. And it's not like, you know, that full bore, I hope you like coffee because now you're drinking coffee kind of deal. I do like this.
Yeah, I dig this.
God, yeah, porter is disgusting though. I'm not with you on that.
Well, you can go f yourself.
It's fair. It's more than fair.
All right, so this one's the Sculpin IPA.
Sculpin IPA.
What the I'm comparing the two IPAs.
The bouquet of this one is
I like it.
a little bit more sophisticated than the other one. This is for inner party members.
Inner party members, yeah. Which one do you think you like better?
If I had to pick one of the IPAs that I liked more, I'd have to go with the Sculpin. Just, you know, the more West Coast style, dankety dank. I have actually eaten a handful of hops before. It was like stuffing a Christmas tree in my mouth. And
like the whole thing?
Yeah, the whole thing. I use that experience as a litmus test to determine whether or not things have too much hops in them. If I look back, it was not the right idea to put a handful of hops in my mouth.
I can understand that. I appreciate the complexity and the different aromas and different aspects that they're putting into the IPA. I don't think I could take a whole pint of this. So this next one's the Victory at Sea. It's like a chocolate medley of amazingness.
I mean, it's got that smoky flavor, but that's really just kind of a side note to what is going on with the coffee and the vanilla. Like, that is working out really well.
Yeah.
And me, I hate coffee.
I despise coffee.
Like, this is not an overpowering coffee flavor.
No, it's just enough. It's just enough.
It's a tough call so far, Bob. Either team could win it, or it could be a draw.
So this next one is the even keel.
More of a walking around beer, not just a sitting in one spot kind of beer.
You have the hops in there, but it doesn't have that like crazy bite to it.
It's got a real nice flavor in terms of being kind of neutral and not being too overpowering, and the fact that it's got such a low alcohol content is very cool. It's just a good beer that you can drink a couple of, you know, with your meal, say pizza, veal scallopini, foie gras.
Right. It's the Abandoned Ship smoked lager.
From Jump Street, it's just such a savory, smoky kind of feel.
It smells like a kitchen after like breakfast and lunch.
Breakfast and lunch?
I'm saying like
That's not even a thing. I like how it doesn't have the burnt kind of chocolatey coffee kind of flavor. It's just real neutral.
Smoke.
It's just got a lot of smoky like character to it.
So since we've gone through the whole gambit, which single one do you think you like the most?
Well, if I had to go with my favorite,
Yeah?
honorable mention goes to the Calico Amber Ale.
All right, okay.
I'm definitely, I got a soft spot in me for the Ambers. And as far as my favorite, I'd have to go with the Sculpin IPA.
I'd say honorable mention goes to Victory at Sea, but the Abandoned Ship is definitely my favorite.
TK, what's your favorite?
Calico. What a f***ing lush.
That was some good beer.
Yeah, it was.
All right, that's it for this episode of Crafty. For more information about Ballast Point, please visit their website. And as always, remember, drink responsibly. And by that we mean, don't drink shitty beer.
I hate you.